Hey everybody, it's Mark Cavalier with the Southwest Coalition for Life, and I'm coming to you live from the Santa Teresa prayer vigil. That today is a lot of things happening today. It of course is Valentine's Day. It is also Ash Wednesday, and that means it is also the beginning of the first day of our Lenten Spring 40 Days for Life campaign. So we've got a lot going on today, and it's a really appropriate day, not only for Lent, but also for this feast of St. Valentine's Day, knowing that St. St. Valentine was martyred for living out his faith, and especially for the truth about marriage and the family, and this battle's still going on today with in different ways, and with this scourge and this trauma, the sin of abortion. And so we're out here as 40 Days for Life. Thank you guys for everybody who came out to our kickoff rallies. We had just this past Saturday, we had our kickoff rallies here in Santa Teresa with National Speaker Steve Carlin, and then we also had the kickoff rally in Las Cruces, which we had a freezing rain that happened out there, but it still went on anyway. So, but I wanted to give some updates because we're out here today. A lot of people have been asking what's going on here in Santa Teresa, and so if you missed it on one of our last videos, or you weren't able to make it out for our kickoff rally, we knew a couple of years ago that we had heard that the property managers of Franz the Arts Abortion Center, which is right here over my shoulder behind me, wasn't going to renew his lease. And so we've been hopeful for some praying for the last couple of years that then the abortionist Franz the Ard would take that as an opportunity to retire when his lease wasn't renewed. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. But you can see, if you've been out here before, this building behind me is no longer occupied. It's now closed. And so they've taken down the sign that said Women's Reproductive Center from the top. And so this spot behind me, that where Franz the Art has been doing abortions for many, many years, he's now vacated the building. Unfortunately, though, when they didn't renew his lease, he instead just moved his business, unfortunately. So there's this other property strip, which is a different property owner behind me, which starts with the subway, you can see, and then going down this whole strip. And so where he's moved is the second to last suite in this adjacent property strip to where he was formerly. He bought out a suite there, and it's the second to last suite. And what's interesting, though, is that I think that in the long run, this is actually a really good move for us for multiple reasons. One is, I'm going to show you in a second, if you haven't already seen, that it's a much smaller, sketchier looking kind of hole in the wall place that is right next to a marijuana dispensary in New Mexico. And so this is where they're telling women that they have to come for what they're calling health care from all across Texas, as they're saying you have to drive to New Mexico for to get an abortion. Right here, you can see behind me is so that you can see the building there with the marijuana leaves painted on the wall, and then there's that yellow suite right next to it, and it says Women's Reproductive Center. So he's moved locations, just a stone's throw from where he was over there behind me, and now just set further back in this like yellow little building right next to a marijuana shop. So that's where you're coming. That's where Texas women are being sent for abortions in New Mexico. Right across the state line is this little sketchy hole in the wall, literally almost like a back alley shop. Like it's like set so far back here, and right next to a marijuana shop. So that is the legacy of abortion in New Mexico that Governor Lujan Grisham is inviting into New Mexico, with zero regulations whatsoever, no regulations on abortion up to the moment of delivery in the state of New Mexico. So for 40 Days for Life, what that means is we're still continuing to pray in the same spot that we have been on the grass. And a lot of people have been asking if we want to move closer or anything, but there's multiple reasons that we still want people praying as that first most visible line of defense. So over there by those two trees over my shoulder, that's the first thing when people pull into this driveway area. They have to come through that driveway, and that we hear so often that just seeing somebody out there praying peacefully in a very non intrusive way. Oftentimes they'll say, you know, I was praying for a sign and that was my sign. So we want 40 Days for Life prayer volunteers for that to be the first thing that people see when they pull in. The second thing is that they just left, actually. They just ended the shift, but then we then have our mobile ultrasound bus and our sidewalk interns that park out here under this awning. The owners here, the MVD, are friends of ours. They're amazing supporters, and so we've been parking our mobile unit right here. And what that means is that every person coming for an abortion in that facility there has to pass right past our mobile ultrasound bus and our sidewalk interns that stand right out here where I'm standing. And so it's creating this really strong dual layer of defense, this dual line of defense. That first line of defense, which is the howdy, how are you? That first line of defense, though, which is the prayer volunteers, and then the second line of defense, which is the mobile ultrasound bus and the sidewalk interns right here. So I think it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. That's going to have us, and we've seen a huge increase in how many women we've been able to reach. In fact, just last week, we had someone who came from out of state, and they said that they saw somebody praying on the grass, and that was their first sign that they maybe shouldn't go through with this. Then they came and they saw the sidewalk interns, and they felt like that was their second sign. And then they looked over and saw the big mobile ultrasound bus, and they were like, okay, God, if you're giving me 3 signs, maybe I should go talk to them. So and there's a question being asked about the abortionist who was trying to come to Hobbs. If I've heard anything about it since, no. And last summer, in a different New Mexico city, there was that abortionist that we know was trying to open up shop in Hobbs, New Mexico, and did kind of under the radar open up kind of a horrible butcher shop. And then the land, hadn't been honest to the landlord about why we're there, and we're kicked out. And I haven't heard anything since. So we don't know if he's tried to go elsewhere in the state. If so, is probably trying to do it again on the down low. But that's exactly, again, what Governor Grisham in the state of New Mexico is inviting in, is completely unregulated, unlicensed, so-called, healthcare practitioners who are doing that. Even Steve Carlin came down from the National 40 Days for Life this past weekend and pointed out that even communist China has more regulations on abortion than the state of New Mexico, which is insane. And but we've seen what God can do, and we've seen abortion facilities close. They just had the 149th abortion facility close following 40 Days for Life prayer campaigns. With over 24,000 lives, 24,242 lives that have been spared because of the peaceful presence of people out praying peacefully, and over 250 abortion workers who have quit and left the abortion industry because of that peaceful prayer presence. So you could be a part of this movement. We're still, our vigil here in Santa Teresa is almost completely full. It's like over 96% of the hours are filled with at least 1, if not 2 people or more. Last I checked, there was only 3 hours on Thursdays, and I think Fridays, if I'm not mistaken. There were only 3 hours of the whole vigil that still have nobody. So if you have not yet signed up for the Santa Teresa vigil, go on our schedule at southwest.life, and you can look on there and see which hours have either 0 people, 1 person, or 2 person or more, and try to fill in those empty spots. And then our Las Cruces vigil at the Pink House abortion facility, that one, we need a lot of help in Las Cruces. Last I checked, we still had I think 39 spots that still had 0 people in there. So we need your help. Part of 40 Days for Life is prayer and fasting, peaceful vigil, a community outreach too, meaning you got to take this out and get spread the word and bring people with you. And there's a snowball effect where more and more people get involved. And we've seen this growing in our region over the past 10 years. It's almost been 10 years since our first 40 Days for Life. And in that time, we've seen God close 3 abortion facilities locally, and hundreds of moms changing their mind and choosing life, and even 9 abortion workers that we're aware of who left their jobs from the Hilltop facility. So praise be to God for 40 Days for Life. It literally has been the foundation on which everything else that God has been accomplishing has built. Everything that is happening with our expansion in not just the mobile ultrasound bus, but our health facilities, upcoming birth center that we announced at our most recent gala even, which literally is the true opposite of an abortion center. We're not just saying, we want to help a mom to choose life, and then you're on your own to figure out the actual childbirth experience, which can often be scary. It can often be expensive. It can often be traumatic, and a lot of times, over 60% of the women coming here for abortions already have children, and they're thinking, I can't go through that again. And so actually providing the full, not just prenatal care, but postpartum, childbirth and postpartum support is absolutely critical. And so that's what we're doing here very, very shortly. Keep your ears open for big updates coming on that. And then the other big announcement that I wanted to put out there is the information about our Midpoint event. And it's taken us a while to lock in the details. But on March 10th, we are going to be having our Midpoint March for Life in Las Cruces. It'll be like the March of the Crosses that we've been saying. Like the name of the city of Las Cruces means the crosses. So we encourage everybody to bring a cross representing your faith tradition. And we'll be meeting at the Plaza de Las Cruces, downtown Las Cruces, on March 10th at 2 p.m. We're going to have a rally. And I'm really, really excited because we're going to be having two incredible women come to speak. The first one is Missy Martinez-Stone, who is the director of the Center for Client Safety, was formerly called Reprotection, an incredible national organization doing a lot to help to help abortion facilities close and to help them be held accountable for violations and things like that. So she's going to be coming in, and she'll also be training our staff while she's here. And then the second speaker we'll be having, I'm really excited, is Jamie Jeffries, who we've worked a lot with. And she's going to be coming in as well to speak at that event. So hold on a second, I hope I'm still broadcasting. Okay, there. But sorry, my phone glitched for a second. But so put that date on your calendar, March 10th, 2 p.m., Plaza de Las Cruces. A couple of amazing speakers you're going to get to meet. And then after the rally, we'll be able to have a walk along the sidewalks down to the Las Cruces City Hall, and then to a nearby abortion facility to pray as well. And that's going to be on a Sunday. So if you're coming from out of town, you can come in, and there'll be there's an 11 o'clock mass at the Las Cruces Cathedral that you can hit, and then there'll be a couple hours to grab a bite and then head over to the plaza in Las Cruces. And this is, of course, something we're encouraging everybody from the Southwest region to come down for this event, even if you're not part of our ongoing 40 Days for Life campaign. But I encourage you, we've been seeing a lot of people who are driving even an hour or more to be a part of 40 Days for Life, because they're realizing, if women are driving literally 10 hours from Houston, Texas, for an abortion in New Mexico, can we drive an hour to come out and be here for them and pray? Steve Carlin, one of the things he challenged our everybody who attended our kickoff rally, he said that you can pretend to care, but you can't pretend to show up. And that really hits home for a lot of us, because, we're passionate about this issue, but are we showing up? Because who is showing up is the abortionist. Franz Diart is continuing to show up, even though, he had to close his main center in El Paso, and now even close his second center, and now he's still showing up at this third location that I showed you earlier. So he's still showing up. Women from across Texas are showing up for abortions. Are you showing up? And so I highly encourage, we've even had people drive a couple hours once a week to come out and pray for 1 or 2 hour, 1, 2, 3 hour blocks at a time. And so this is going to be a really good opportunity for the Midpoint Rally to come out, get involved, bring your friends so they can learn more about 40 Days for Life. And sorry, the traffic's going by as loud. But okay, I think that covers all the updates for now. So if you're not getting our daily prayer emails, make sure you go to southwest.life and sign up there for our email newsletter, or better yet, go to the 40 Days for Life page at southwest.life and sign up for an hour to pray. And if you sign up for a weekly commitment, so coming out, say, every Tuesdays at 9 a.m., then for those 5 weeks of the campaign, you'll also get one of our t-shirts, our free t-shirts that we do each campaign. And the theme this year is that we want to be here to make sure that moms know that they're able, this is, that a lot of times they're feeling scared. And we're here to say, Your body's not the problem. Your pregnancy is not the problem. Your baby is not the problem. We're here to help you, and you've got this ability to do this. This is what you're created for, and that you can do this because you're strong as a mother. And so that's our theme this year. We've actually got a billboard up as people are driving from Texas into New Mexico that says exactly that. You got this. You're strong as a mother, with a phone number to call for help, and it shows the beauty of motherhood. And so that's what our T-shirts say this year: is you got this, you're strong as a mother, because that's the message we want to proclaim for all the women who feel that they have no other option, no other choice, as people are coming in and telling them that that everyone else in their life is saying you can't do this, you can't have a baby right now and be successful and do what you want. So we're here to say yes, you can, and we're here to help. So you can see we've got prayer volunteers right here praying over my shoulder, and so come out and join them. We got people out here every single hour, except for those 3 hours that remain in Santa Teresa that still need somebody to be a link in this unbroken chain of prayer and fasting. Remember, God calls us to keep watch with him for at least 1 hour in Scripture, and the Greek word for keeping watch is vigil. So come out, keep watch. We know wherever 2 or more are gathered, Christ is present. And so we're calling people to come out, and at least 2 or more per hour be a link in this unbroken chain of prayer and fasting, because we know some evil can only be driven out by not just prayer alone, but prayer and fasting, which is, breaking, especially this Lenten campaign. A lot of times we are encouraged to give something up for Lent so that we kind of break our dependence on the world and depend more on God. And so I encourage you, if in addition to whatever you're doing, consider just giving up 1 hour of your time each week. Give that hour up to keep watch with Christ. And doing this together, standing united, we know that throughout Scripture, God uses 40-day time periods as great transformation. And so that's what 40 Days for Life is all about, is using this power of 40 days of peaceful prayer and fasting, and the results speak for themselves, and you can be a part of that. We have it all the time. Women come out and say, you know what, I was praying for a sign, like I said just last week, and they saw somebody out praying on their knees in the grass, and they said that was my sign from God. You can literally be somebody's sign from God by signing up for at least 1 hour or more of 40 Days for Life. So spread the word. Thank you guys, and we'll see you at our Midpoint event coming up on March 10th, 2 p.m. at the Plaza de Las Cruces. Sign up at southwest.life. God bless.